Hey everyone, it is late at night, about 11 p.m. on the 18th of January 2025. We're walking up to the Pallet house right now, looking down at the ground. Do you see some coyote tracks? The snow is kind of melting. It made it to 36 degrees Fahrenheit today. That's about 2 degrees Celsius. We went camping in here at night on the 16th, came out of here on the 17th. It's now the 18th. My trail camera's only been up a day, so I'm curious if anything went in here. I left a bunch of leftover pancakes we made on that camp. Look at this, the snow is starting to fall off because it's above freezing right now, even at night. Look at that, it slid from the top about 2 feet. And look how it's hanging. That's really cool looking, look at that. It's just hanging off the edge. That's cool. So we just used a diesel space heater in here. Ooh, look at the other side. Also sliding off nicely. But that's supposed to freeze up tonight. Even though it's above freezing now, we're supposed to hit about negative 10 degrees in just 2 days with a high temperature of 7. So negative 10 degrees is about negative 18 Celsius. And then the daytime high, which is only 7, coming up on Monday. In 2 days, 7 degrees is about, I think, negative 15 Celsius. So we're going to look in here. I don't know if this was the wind or an animal. Only 2 days. Look, something destroyed the walls. Look at this. The whole ceiling's coming down. Can you see that? The whole corner there is exposed. I don't think the wind did that. It's possible. It is possible. Notice the damage is only on this wall over here. We are now facing west. The wind always comes from the west to the east. Notice the wall and ceiling isn't damaged over here on the east side. Only the west side. So yeah, it could have been the wind that blew this apart because the pallets aren't very secure. May have been an animal. Looking down here, something's definitely been eating. I'm assuming it's a squirrel because if it was a raccoon, if it was a coyote that came in here, it would have finished all the pancakes. I think something small was taking this. So, as the camera right now gets a view of my butt crack, I'm going to leave it here, but we'll check again in a day since there's still some food. There's the camera. All right, we're going to leave it up another day, see if anything shows up. We're supposed to get 10 inches of snow tomorrow night, so maybe the camera will pick that up too as a time lapse. We'll see. It's a motion camera, so it might get a clip of before and after, but it's not working as a time lapse at the moment. See you in a couple days. It's now January 20th, 2025, about 1 in the afternoon. We're back here. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 10 inches that was forecasted. We only got about 3. But we're going to pull this camera today, see what kind of creatures may have been going in here. It's only been a couple days since we camped. Something ate the food. The stuff is all falling down. It's all ripping. So yeah, I'll probably just eventually rip this down and throw it in the garbage. That's not going to hold up. Time to get that SD card out of here. Review it.
Alright everyone, I'm doing a voiceover right now. I have not looked at any of this footage myself. I'm seeing it with you guys for the first time. That was a squirrel that just ran up the tree. It's the middle of the night. That's a flying squirrel. They are nocturnal. So I was right about it being a squirrel. Oh look, and now the squirrel's up in the 2nd floor. I think there's actually 2 of them. So it's called a flying squirrel because it can climb up a tree and then it can glide. It opens its legs and it has a big flap of skin and it just glides, so it's like a flying squirrel. We get a lot of flying squirrels around, especially at night. It's sometimes fun to walk around outside because they're not that skittish. You look up in the trees, their eyes are glowing.
Also
Oh,
sliding off
there's
nicely.
me. This is the beginning of the video when I went in there to investigate.
We're supposed to hit
So
about
wow, the camera only picked up
-10 in just 2
two
days
individual clips of the
with a high
squirrels.
temperature
They
of
are small,
7.
so they probably
So
just
-10
weren't
is
triggering it a
about
whole bunch.
-18.
And there's me still inside there. Alright, the next night, here we are, the flying squirrels again are back. So it looks like they're the only ones who are eating it. And I'd much rather see the flying squirrels out here than the red squirrels, because the red squirrels are destructive to a lot of property. So I'd rather these flying ones. Never really found them to be damaging. Oh, look, one just ran in, and there's the snow picking up. It's starting to snow. Unfortunately, we didn't get as much snow as we were forecasted. Look at the temperature. We're already starting to drop a bit. It's going to be even colder once again the next night. Come on, where are those squirrels? So it looks like most of these clips, they just trigger it as they run in there. Can't even really see them in there eating anything. Not too eventful yet. No. And this one right here, I don't really see anything. The wind blowing that silver emergency blanket in there might be what is triggering the camera here. And you see on the screen how it's saying we're exactly at the freezing mark. I don't believe that to be correct. I think it's much colder outside. Yep, you see how it just dropped so much in a split second. I think the sun was just touching it for that one high reading right there. Because this reading here seems more like it for this day. Yeah. And the next clip, what do we got coming up here? Looks like just a bunch of snow falling out of the tree triggering it. I don't think we're actually going to see anything. But yeah, flying squirrels are what came to eat the pancakes. Nothing else showed interest. When it's colder out, even things like raccoons, they hunker down. They're not an animal that hibernates, but they're out and about sometimes in the winter. They go into like miniature hibernations. If food is abundant, they won't hibernate. If food is scarce, they'll sleep for a week or two at a time. But they're not like a bear. They don't stay hibernating until it gets warm. One more clip. What do we got there? It's just wind. Nothing. I'm going to cut out the rest of this. Getting kind of windy out. Now we are walking out to get the other camera's SD card so we can figure out what ate that popcorn that we threw out here during camping. Nice layer of snow. I wish we would get more. We haven't had decent snowpack since 2021. Back then, it would have been up over my waist. So out here, we have a bunch of animal tracks all over the ground, so I'm sure the popcorn was taken. Yeah, it's definitely gone. Let's review this camera also. Wipe that off, get its SD card out of there. Let's hope it opens. Look at that. How did that ball of ice form on it? Yeah, it opened nice. Off, pull the SD card out, and we'll reactivate it in an hour or so. Alright everyone, once again I'm watching these videos all for the first time with you. Here I am dumping out that Jiffy Pop from the big silver bubble. I could only finish half of it during the camping video, and I don't want to have open food containers when I'm sleeping, so I dumped it out here. And now I believe I'm going on a walk, doing a vlog video with everyone. Yeah, that's what we were doing. I'm just now showing the big water bowl out there. Here I'm coming back, I believe. No, I'm still going out. Yeah, I'm still moving away. There's some pretty interesting videos on this trail camera before I even put the popcorn out there. I'll add the older footage once we go through this. Once you get to see who ate this. Alright, here I am coming back from this vlog video. Going back to the pallet house to sleep. if you saw this camping video, went around showing the woods a bit in the colder weather. We walked down to a neighboring stream.
Clean this up so some animal doesn't choke on the...
Oh, I was picking up the garbage there. That's what I just bent over for. I cannot hear the sound while I'm doing the voiceover. And okay, here's the first clip without me in it. Snowing a bit. The snow is maybe what triggered it, but I'm guessing there's a squirrel I'm not seeing. Usually snow doesn't trigger these cameras. There's got to be something bigger. Oh, here's our first customer. I told you I saw coyote tracks. They didn't go near the pallet house though. But oh, there's our friend the coyote. We get a lot of coyotes in the winter months, not so much in the summer. Oh, I'm gonna eat the popcorn I didn't eat. Ooh, look at that. Being pretty cautious. He always taking a little bite and backing off. I don't know what it is. Why he doesn't just stay up there and eat it all. Why he has to keep backing up every clip. It's like hiding behind that tree. Nope. Getting a little more. Maybe you can smell me on the popcorn because I was eating it. This coyote's being very cautious for some reason. So this was actually while I was sleeping. Wait a second. 4 a.m. I don't believe I was sleeping. No, I don't think I was. I woke up in this camping video extremely early and started cooking food. So I believe I'm up right now. Probably talking, filming. So this guy might be able to hear me. It's possible. It's a 5-minute walk away though. So I don't think that's what's bothering him. Yeah, the temperatures sure are falling. I believe during this camping video we recorded a low of about 6. I think 6 is actually the lowest temperature that I recorded personally at the pallet house. Still eating all that popcorn. Not as skittish now. I guess got used to my scent on everything. Is this guy the one that eats everything? Oh, here's something. Looking around. Running away for some reason. This is a fairly small coyote. Sometimes we see ones that are as big as huskies. Didn't eat much of it and is leaving. Now the morning. Whoa, look at that squirrel. You just saw it hopped really far. Now this is a red squirrel. The flying squirrels don't come out in the daytime. This one right here is a menace. The red ones are... Oh, look at that. We have a raven. Got a nice raven. Oh, flying away for some reason. Got spooked. And here he comes back. I can see the thumbnail in the video editor like 5 seconds before it comes onto the screen. It shows me a bunch of still thumbnails as the video's moving along. Flying away again. This is usually the best spot in my area to put the trail camera. All the animals use my trails because that's the easiest spot for them to walk through the forest. Oh, here's the raven back. Usually the ravens will bring a couple of friends, but not this time. This one raven wants it all for itself. And in the next clip, it's dark again. Who's going to be showing up? Oh, the coyote came back. But it is all gone. And the coyote just peed. to mark its territory. Oh, poor coyote. The raven ate it all. Sniffing around, but there's no food. No more food. Still sniffing around. Smelling its own pee. And it looks like, is it pooping right now? Gotta mark its territory to scare that crow away, I guess, is what it's thinking. And it's gone. I guess it triggered the camera right as it was running away, because I don't see anything moving around right now. Nothing going on in this clip. Alright, here we go. What's coming in the daytime? Daytime clip. There's a red squirrel. Maybe there's food underneath the bridge. I don't think so. There was snow there when I placed the popcorn, so I don't think any of it fell through the cracks in the bridge, but it's possible. Look, the squirrel's eating something. Maybe when the raven or the coyote was eating it, they shuffled it around. Maybe some of it fell underneath the bridge where they couldn't get to it. Because something's attracting the squirrel. He's eating something. Oh, and here I come in the next clip to pick up the camera. And
Let's review.
I'll show you guys some more clips.
This camera also. Wipe that off. Get its SD card out of there. Hope it opens. Look at that.
Alright everyone, this is when I first put this trail camera out here, because this trail camera was not put out here just for the popcorn. I put this out here a while ago just to have on my trail to see whatever may or may not come by, and we have a good bit of footage here. Oh, look at the deer to the left. It's got a bunch of drool hanging from its face. So these trails here have a lot of deer on them, a lot of turkeys on them, and the reason in the winter months I get a lot of animals to here is because I sprinkle corn as I walk. I'll carry a big bag of corn down every single trail, just slowly releasing it on the ground, leaving a thin trail of it. Then it snows, so these animals have to dig down on all the trails and they find it all. And it's been attracting a lot of deer, a lot of turkeys, and all the trails lead back to the trail camera. So eventually the trails of corn that I put down leads everything back. I don't put down food in front of the cameras during the warmer months because of the bear. That's why. Don't want to encourage the bear to be in the yard. But they hibernate typically if it's below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 Celsius. The bear's going to be typically sleeping. We had a late bear this year. We had a day in November where the bear was walking in this exact same spot. This is a very fluffy deer. We got a number of deer. You can tell they look very different when I see them on my different cameras. So yeah, there's a lot of footage of this same deer. It just stands here eating for quite a while. But maybe we'll see it do something interesting. So I'm just gonna watch this with everyone. It's eating corn, because I didn't put anything else out here. But there's no corn over there. It's not on the trail. It's walking into the wet area. There it is coming back. On its way back. I haven't had a moose on my cameras in a couple of years. I wish we'd get more moose. When I moved to this area, we had a lot of moose crossing signs, even the ones with motion sensors that would start flashing yellow lights when cars would be driving by. They removed all that stuff, though, a couple years ago. We don't have any moose crossing signs now. Moose are all gone. You gotta drive very far up in Maine to see them. They're all up at the top. There's no moose anymore in the middle or bottom of the state. They're all gone. Driven up north. Too much development. Okay, the next footage we get in here is gonna be nighttime. Who is it though? I don't see anything happening. I don't see anything. I don't know what set the camera off. Now these cameras have a couple of ways of setting them. This model of camera has 3 motion sensors. I only have the forward facing motion sensor activated because it's facing down a trail. Now if this was facing across a trail, it has 3 motion sensors, one facing each side. What that does is it triggers the camera so it starts recording before the animal goes into frame. If you have a trail camera set up where it's not looking down a trail, it's just looking across, if you only have one sensor running, you're only going to get the butt of the animal walking away for a split second. Then it's done. You want the camera to be on and recording before it gets to it. It's not like a security camera. With a security camera system, like I have a Ring doorbell camera, the way that thing works is it's recording all the time. And when it sees motion, it just saves like a minute before leading up to that. This camera, to conserve, because it's on battery camera, doesn't do that. This only starts recording when the sensor is activated to save power. And a trail camera doesn't continuously record. You can program it to record for a very long time, but I don't do that. These cameras are programmed to record 15 or 20-second clips. Then they're told to not record anything for a full minute. Then start recording again if there's still something standing there. That way it doesn't fill up the SD card really fast. You can also program that any way you want. It can make 5-second clips, 5-minute clips. I don't want to do the long ones though like that. And you can also have it so it won't get triggered for an hour. You can program them where they trigger again immediately. You can also shut the motion sensors completely off, and you can use it as a time-lapse camera. You can program it to take a picture, but I would recommend a short video clip. Use like a 5-second video clip when you're time-lapsing with a trail camera, then it comes out best. Like I've time-lapsed rivers freezing, I've time-lapsed trees growing their leaves from spring to summer, I've time-lapsed trees losing their leaves, and numerous other things, and I'll usually program it to make a 5-second clip every hour, or a 5-second clip every 3 hours, something like that. But if you just have it taking a picture every few hours, it's not going to go together smoothly because there's not enough. Now, if you were having it taking a picture every 5 minutes, then it would go together pretty smoothly, but then you have so many files that then again it becomes difficult to even splice it together. But when I was recording a river freezing, I had it taking a picture, I believe, every 6 hours, something like that. And you want the short video clips, then it goes together very smooth when you speed up. Because the way I used to do things is I would time-lapse with just pictures. You'd have thousands or hundreds of pictures. You basically make them into a slideshow, save it as a video file, and then you speed it up. So the pictures are going by extremely fast. But if they were videos going by extremely fast, it would blend together much smoother as a time-lapse. I really wish we'd get good snow this year. We haven't had good snow in a couple of years. Like this year, I've only had one day so far I've had to use the snowblower, and it was more of making access so I could have a fuel delivery to the house. That was pretty much it. It was only like 3 or 4 inches of snow, which I would just drive through and pack it down. I don't really bother with small amounts like that. But like last night, we got another 3 or 4 inches of snow. Well, more like 3. I'm not even going to clear it. Just drive up and down the driveway a couple of times. It just packs it all down. I don't really bother with small stuff like that. What's this guy eating? Look at that. Look at all the ice stuck to its face. See in the background of these video clips, you see the tree with the sign on it? Between the tree with the sign on it and the tree directly to the right, if you look in the background between those, there's a tree with this giant bump on it, whatever you call that. And you know, people like to cut those out of trees, make them into bowls, or they just look really pretty inside the wood grain of those giant knots on the tree. Or a wood borer. That's really... I've had a couple people ask me if I could buy that. It's a very interesting tree. I don't know what caused that on there. Whether it was a tree got an infection and tried to heal from it or what. These video clips aren't the most exciting stuff. Just a deer digging for corn. I wish I'd get like a crowd of deer. One time when I was out on the logging roads, I went down into a stream and I was just brushing my teeth, and when I looked back up to the road, it scared me for a minute. There was like a group of a dozen deer just standing up on the road, looking down, staring at me. And they startled me, so I was like, whoa. And I just scared them all away. There's a lot more deer, like in the upper section of the state. Not so many in my area. But we get certain ones like this that come along very often. Look at it, sticking its whole face into the snow. I guess it found it easier to use its face than to use its front legs to dig down in search of corn. Now in this shot, you can really see that tree borer in the back. Nothing's really happening. Well, the deer got its whole self up onto the bridge. Well, coming back to the camera. Maybe in front of one of these cameras, instead of just leaving trails on the ground, instead of leaving piles on the ground that get covered up with the snow, maybe I should actually put a feeder on one of the trees, like a farm feeder. I know for hunters they have automatic deer feeders. It'll dispense corn on a timer. This isn't the best view. Can't see much of anything. Look how dark the background is too. It's overexposing on the deer's butt. Alright, the next clip coming up is finally daytime. Oh, the deer is still there, even in the morning. It looks like it walked away and came back. That looks like the same deer. I guess it just went down a different trail, because when I put the corn down, it went down every single trail. How long is the deer gonna stay here now that it's daytime? You know what we haven't had in a few years? I wish we'd get one this winter. I wish we'd get like multiple feet of snow. Just one nice massive snowstorm. But the ones that have like a lot of wind, you know, a good blizzard of fluffy snow. I love snow drifts. I remember when I was a kid seeing a lot of that. I haven't seen it in years though. You'd see snow drifts. There'd be parts of the yard where the wind picks it up. There'll be nothing. And then there'll be parts of the yard, there'll be this giant wave of snow that's almost as tall as you. That was really cool. There are certain areas in the mountains around here that wind gusts through and there's always snow on the road. They gotta plow it on windy days because it just blows it back into the road. Pretty interesting. Alright, this trail camera, I obviously need to reprogram this one. Because look at this. The shut-off intervals don't seem to be that big. Because these video clips seem to just seamlessly go together without too much of a gap. Alright, that one had a gap. Some of them, though, I'm looking at the gaps between the video clips on the screen, and they seem to go together too seamless. And then you just get the same animal over and over. Yeah, you're more likely to get the animal doing something funny, but when you leave a trail camera out there for long term, sometimes you'll go back to thousands and thousands of clips of something like a squirrel, which I'm not trying to film squirrels. I'm trying to film the more interesting animals. Look at that, the sun just came out. Is that what triggered the camera? I don't think so. Okay, the next clip is nighttime. Who do we got showing up? Is it going to be the deer again? Is the deer running away from something? You can still see it in the top left, running. Okay, we just entered another video clip, and I'm not sure what has triggered this camera. Look how cold it is outside, too. This was a cold night. You know, this is the coldest week. Oh, it's way in the background. I see it now. The cameras see it. I didn't notice that. It's way in the background, the deer. To the left of the tree with the sign. Look halfway down the tree with the sign. You see the deer's butt in the background. There we are. Coming back up, probably sniffing the camera. Yeah, this week we are supposed to get multiple nights where it's down to about -10, and yeah, that's the coldest weather we've had in a while. The daytime highs are only single digits, but I wish we'd get colder. It's been, I think now, 2 years since we've approached -40. I want more of that. I've mentioned it a lot, but 2021 I think was the best winter I've ever had since I've moved north. 2 months straight, every single night below zero. Below zero means below -17 Celsius. We had 2 months straight of that. We didn't hit the freezing mark or even get close to it for 2 months either. Every day was basically single digit. We even had negative temperatures sometimes for high temperatures. That was cool. We had, I think, weeks on end of even below -20. That was cool. That winter is when I did my first camping video on a frozen river. The one where the ice had a massive crack in it and you could look down and see rapids. That was pretty cool. The crack is because the river froze when it was flowing heavily. Then the water beneath it kind of dried up. And then the second river I went camping on underneath the logging bridge, that's actually one of my favorite videos of camping. That video there was forecasted to be pretty warm, but out in the wilderness it's always much, much colder than they forecast, especially since there's no monitoring stations out there in the main wilderness. It got down much, much colder than expected that night. It was freezing. The next time I do any sort of camp like that where it has easy road access, I'm going to bring that little diesel heater I used in this pallet house camp. Because that worked really good, and I'm sure I could pump that into a tent very, very nicely and just let it run all night. You need good road access because that diesel generator needs to be attached to a car battery, which is very heavy. Not a car battery, a deep cycle battery, and those things weigh usually 50, 60 pounds a piece. They're pretty big. You can't use a smaller one because it just won't be able to run the battery long enough, I think.
A deep cycle battery can supposedly run at 60 hours, so a smaller one probably would run you overnight, but still, all that equipment for that thing to run is still very heavy. I think my favorite video as far as the outcome, like that logging bridge video, is one of the favorite ones to actually make. Also, the one camping on that chickie with a kayak was also another one that was extremely fun to make. I think the one that I think came out the best outcome was titled Start to Finish the Truck Camp, where it shows me finding the truck camp 5 years ago, filled to the brim with random stuff, salvaging it, cleaning the truck out, cleaning up 30 gallons worth of mouse poop all over the floor and ceiling. It was gross. Then we had to use a power bank with a pump. Didn't give us the best water pressure, but I was able to get a hose in there from the stream, spray it out, bleach. Then we put a temporary roof on it, installed the wood stove, ran it like that for 2 years. Then I realized the flat roof was causing issues. It was causing too much snow on the roof of the aging truck. But then I built that A-frame. I've had quite a few comments. I don't know why they think the truck camp will blow over because of the second floor. I don't know, do they think I live in like the open plains where it can even blow over an empty tractor trailer? I don't know what they're thinking. I live in the woods. It's not going to pick up like that around here. Plus that truck is extremely heavy. And there's also a bunch of people that say my A-frame will crush the truck like a tin can. It's not true either. That truck was able to hold 3 feet of snow that I've witnessed, and it's been there since 1992 in the woods according to its registration. And I'm sure since 1992 it has seen much, much worse than what I have seen living up here. When I used to come up north to visit my grandparents as a kid, there would be sometimes snow over my head. And yes, I was a little kid and I probably had a much different perspective, but I also do remember how big the piles were that I used to sled down. The piles used to be so big in the driveway after it would get plowed that I could use the pile alone without a hill just to sled down. And I also look at those old pictures for reference. You see how high the snow is. It's over the windows on the house. Like across the yard, it's up touching the windows, which means there's at least 4 feet of snowpack on the ground. You don't see that stuff around here anymore. 5 feet, 6 feet of snowpack sometimes. Far northern Maine does. Like, I went camping. I have a video called Using Amazon's Cheapest Hot Tent. In that video, I had to use a shovel to dig down into the snowpack. There was many compacted layers of snow. I had to go down at least a couple feet. And up there in northern Maine, they still get snowpack every year that's like 4 or 5 feet thick. Can't imagine how thick it would have been back 20 years ago. But yeah, that truck camp I'm sure has seen massive loads of snow that people aren't realizing. So me building that upstairs with studs and 2x4s, which are kiln dried. I didn't use pressure treated. That structure up there is definitely not weighing as much as a snow load. And I built it steep, so now snow can literally not build up on that. Recently, the last camping video I made there, we had about 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. Not a bit of it even stuck to the roof of that thing. It just all slides right off. And that's what the intention was. The load of the entire upstairs is now on the walls of the truck, not the ceiling. And that's what makes the difference. Now those walls, you're looking at the same piece of metal inside and outside of the truck. It was just super thick. The truck was built very heavy duty compared to the newer trucks. The newer trucks are built so junky. A new box truck, you see it on YouTube all the time. An unsecured pallet falls over and just rips through the wall of the truck. Garbage. Not that old truck. That truck is from the 70s. The thing was built like a tank. It can handle that load up there. But yeah, I don't expect that thing to fall down anytime soon. I expect it to rot before it would ever do that. As far as my other camps, I do want to camp on another frozen body of water sometime. I want to make like a homemade fishing pole. One where I can just have a stick dipped into the water, just dipping it in and out with a hook. Maybe I can get some fish to bite it and get some kind of fish up through the hole. I actually found on the side of the road for free a manual ice drill for ice fishing. It's got an 8-inch diameter drill bit, and it's just hand crank. You just crank it through the ice. An auger, ice auger, whatever you call it. Found that free on the side of the road a few years ago. I believe I used it once. I tested it and dug a hole in sand, or augered a hole in sand. That was kind of fun. But we could try using something like that. In a situation like that, I'd want to use the hot tent because they don't have a floor like a regular tent. Then you could just ice fish right inside the tent, and that was where the diesel heater would probably come in nicely. The diesel heater would not melt where it would become unsafe on the ice unless you were out there multiple days on end. Like, there's a few scenes I've seen up north here. There's this one certain lake where you see people driving motorhomes and all kinds of things out onto the ice, and you think they must be crazy for that. But far up north, the ponds freeze at least 2 feet thick, so you can bring vehicles and stuff out there. But the thing is, people bring campers and stuff out there, then suddenly you get like a 70-degree day. You see the whole surface of the pond is starting to get little floods and puddles all over it, but the ice is still safe for quite a while, and every now and then you do see an accident. One time I saw a trailer where the wheels of the trailer punched through the ice and it just went down onto its frame. It didn't fall through the ice, but I'm not sure how they got that out of there. I don't believe we have any ice roads or anything like that. I don't think the ice gets exactly thick enough to handle a heavy truck like that. I think it takes almost 3 feet of ice to safely drive a semi-truck across. But I think the average vehicle, it only takes about a foot. Could be wrong about that. Maybe it's 18 inches, the average vehicle. I think a snowmobile, they recommend 8. Human, they recommend 3 inches before you can walk out on it. Okay, this is some pretty boring footage of the deer. I don't think anything else is really gonna happen here. It's just digging around, looking around, and I'm gonna end my commentary here, but I'll just leave the rest of this footage if anyone's interested in it. This is kind of boring, but I will start up and talk a little bit more. If I do see something exciting, I'm going to keep watching to the end, but I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. Have a great day if I don't come back.
Okay, right here we got an interesting clip right here. Look at this. Look at the deer. Notice the timestamp. 6:15 p.m. Got the deer walking by at 6:15 p.m. Then, in the next clip, look what's also walking. Less than 3 minutes later, or about 3 minutes later, is a coyote following the same path. You think it's following that deer? The deer's too big. I don't think it's going to try to attack it or anything like that, but it's interesting to see it following the same trail. Alright, take a look at this. It's the same deer as before, so this deer is actually a doe. I was wondering if it's been the one that we saw for months with the big antlers, but it's not. Look, here's the buck. This is the first footage I've seen with two of them.